This is office chair to 5-mile trail hikes in 4 months. The patient is a 55-year-old male who's an office-based salesman, standing at 5'9", 200 pounds with 21% body fat, with a goal to improve fitness enough to hike with a coworker. And they have 4 months to do so. Let's get into it. The key issues with the nutrition aspect of this patient were that he had high sodium and processed easy meals, including microwavable dinners and breakfasts, as well as chips, packaged snacks, and fast food daily. So the concerns for this are a risk for hypertension, GI issues due to the low fiber, as well as a decrease in macronutrients and a high calorie intake, which led to the overweight problem. With respect to the athlete's conditioned state, the key issues were that he only walks 1 mile to work and doesn't take the stairs when he does so. He doesn't have any exercise, no structured exercise, and he has a sedentary lifestyle, including his office job. The concerns for this are poor cardiovascular health, as well as a high injury risk if activity increases too rapidly, and the low endurance levels. The athlete had weaknesses in his nutrition and conditioning state. He has a high body weight. His nutrition deficits cause him to rely on fast food and have a risk for diabetes. On the conditioning side of things, he had an elevated risk of cardiovascular disease and muscle loss due to aging. He also has decreased joint mobility, and he is in a deconditioned state. So these are all things we need to fix. So there were some barriers to overcome with this patient, being that the patient did not cook, had limited nutritional knowledge, as well as a low activity level and time constraints due to work. These were overcome with strategies like easy to prepare meals, while not microwavable high sodium meals. We find a way around that, I'll explain later. The other strategy was to provide a structured walking program, which I will show you in a second. We also have weekly updates with a coworker on the progression, the one that he wants to hike with, as well as education on nutrition to the patient. The nutritional plan helped us overcome some of those barriers as well, including our goal was to improve diet without complex cooking skills. Our goal was to keep meals simple and realistic. We tried to reduce sodium and processed meals while increasing protein intake, and our goal of a weight loss 8 to 10 pounds in 4 months. We also have assessments for the nutrition by using a weekly food log on Chronometer and weekly weigh-ins. The nutritional and macronutritional goals were a daily caloric intake of 1,900 to 2,100 calories per day, including about 120 grams of protein per day, with carbohydrates taking about 40 to 45% of calories a day, while fats took up 25 to 30% of calories per day. And our goal was also to increase fiber intake. 25 grams a day was our goal. Using Chronometer, we also tracked our increase in potassium, magnesium, and vitamin D, as well as our reduction in sodium. The foods that were emphasized and avoided are as follows. The emphasized foods were pre-prepped protein, so this is cooked or canned chicken or even canned tuna, as well as Greek yogurt. So there is some low sodium frozen meal options, and we had him go for those instead. We included fruits, variety nuts, and high protein oatmeal on the foods to emphasize, while limiting fast food with a 2 times per week max, limit chips, limit high sodium microwavable meal, and sugary drinks was our goal here. This is a sample 1-day meal plan that was given. His breakfast included high protein oatmeal and Greek yogurt, as well as some fruit. He also had fruit at his lunch with a grilled chicken wrap, protein bar or almonds as a snack, and dinner was a low sodium microwavable meal and microwave steamed vegetables to keep the athlete or patient rather to adhere to the plan. As for conditioning with this athlete, once we got the nutrition under control, we can focus on improving the fitness while also reducing a risk of injury in a 55-year-old athlete who is beginning to increase their activity level. So one of the things we focused on was avoiding high impact running and focusing on flat ground surfaces. And we also had weekly and monthly timed walks to assess if he was improving or not. But overall, our training goal was to improve aerobic endurance, mobility, and be able to complete a 3 or 5 hour hike by the end of the 4 months. At the beginning, the weekly caloric expenditure goal was about 800 calories. By the end of month 4, our goal was 2,000 calories. Here is his 4-month fitness progression program. So I'll go over the goals. Month 1 goal was to maintain consistency and improve cardiovascular endurance. So we had some walks and some weekly flat walk trails, as well as including body weight strengthening. In month 2, our goal was to improve pace. So we had the patient increase their activity level and frequency of exercise, as well as duration and intensity. And it just kept progressing from here. So we had a 3-month goal of preparing for hiking. So again, we had to increase the intensity and progress him farther. We increased the frequency and the duration of the hikes, as well as introducing an incline treadmill twice a week. By month 4, our goal was to replicate the hike. So we needed 60 minutes almost every day per week of walking, as well as maintaining strength. But we also improved the time of his weekly hike to 2 to 3 hours to replicate the hike he wants to commit. Here's a sample workout sheet from month 2 for the athlete. He had a warm-up of 5 minutes, cardio at 45 minutes of brisk walking, and then some strength training as well as stretches to cool down. And the moment you've been waiting for, this client adhered to the program and was a success story. He improved his fitness, nutrition, and confidence. He achieved a goal of being able to complete a long hike with a coworker and still keeps these habits to ensure a healthy lifestyle.